spring ball, what are we getting after? It's okay. It's like we got to be a tough team. Okay, we break down fast, physical, relentless. Those are the three, non-negotiables that our team has to display. We have to be fast, we have to be physical, and then you have to be completely and utterly relentless in everything we do. Like, we will keep score in everything we do, and we have, and it creates utter competition. When the lights are on, or when the score is close, or when you need to make a play, can you do that? And you're not going to do that. You got to get in there and just get tons of reps at failing to understand. Then it takes one that, okay, I got it right this time, and then I'm going to get it right a second time. We have a saying that I use a lot in football. It's retain, recall, and react. And that retaining that information that's taught to you in meetings. And then when you get out on the practice field, you got to recall it all of a sudden. Now I've got to recall what this offensive play is or what this defensive play is. And then the reaction part is like, okay, now those plays have been called, or I'm supposed to do that, and I can just totally play free. I'm worried about what the other side's doing now. We needed to get everybody as fast as we can to that reaction stage. So it's utterly important that our coaches were great teachers. And then we build into practice ways for them to learn, and ultimately ways for them to fail so that they fail now. And they say, okay, it's okay to fail, but this is why we failed. And then we're going to teach them how to succeed. And that's what we're trying to get through spring. Spring's important for both players and coaches because this is a feel out time now. Okay, we know each other. We're still dating, but the more you see each other, the more you find out about each other. And it's important for those players to know that we don't change. Our expectations aren't going to change. What we demand, it won't change. But it's also important for them to see, okay, once they start doing some of these things, what the results are. When we get out to practice, when we start, I want music going. I want guys out there. I want, having a little bounce in their step, a little juice, getting warmed up. And then the first thing we'll do is a walkthrough, and it's like a 15 minutes. So we go from kind of getting loose to, all right, let's dial it in. This is the mental start of practice. Coaches are coaching, guys are going through, and it's every play we're running. So it's kind of a one-off because when we do it in team or later in the practice when it's live and it's going fast, we can't be second guessing ourselves. So it's a kind of a pre-test, if you will, for whatever we've installed. It's like, okay, we've installed it in a meeting. Now we want to try and go out and recall that and just walk through, okay? And then we'll get into, a stretch. And the first thing we do is, I want Joey's leading the stretches. He's got to be the juice box guy. He's got to come out fired up, and we run across the field and we're high-fiving and we're jumping and the guys are excited, and it's just that juice to go say what's up to somebody and stretch, and we split them into lines, and that's a chance for our coaches, to go around and, talk to a Ben, talk to a Chris, talk to a Jackie, that's how your day's going, and just it gives us a chance to walk around, shake everybody's hand, how you doing, pat them on the back, and for the defensive guys, they're going to talk to the offensive guys and vice versa, because this is a team. And we play a song, We Ready, by Black Rob, on there, and it's, I play it all the time. It's just like, it's time, we ready. And we're going to practice, and it's time, and as soon as they go through that, everybody runs around in a circle, and we're high-fiving, loving up again, and I'll call them up real quick again, let them know, quick expectation of practice, and boom, we're going. The very first thing we'll do is we'll take care of our loafs. We gotta pay our debt. We have what's called kind of LOE, lack of efforts, which we call loafs, and we track those every day. So we grade every practice, every play that a kid does, and we track a lot of the good, and we put them on the Bearcat DNA board. It's the board of reality. Public display in our locker room in our locker room, all the TVs in there. There's 15 in there. It's everywhere. That shows exactly what John McMiniman did for that day. He had one big play, 3 loafs, which is down below as a negative, so he had a net -2 on the day. At the start of the very first practice, we had 45 up downs for the offense, and I think 42 for the defense. Offense didn't like that, and sometimes that's the point of it, is to understand, okay, well, this is, we're paying our debts for what we didn't do, because this is how we're not going to lose games. Like, if we just kept that the same, we talk about winning or losing those first 3 games, and we'd lose. Last spring practice, I think we had, the goal is to have none, but you're going to get down, you're going to have 6 and 3, on there. And the kids take pride in that, and they understand how they got to practice. So when a play's going or it's on the other side of the field, I don't care. You are turning and sprinting. It's just the way we are. It's what we do. You put on our film, it's going to be different. And that's a way that we start practice, and the kids are huffing and puffing and tiring, but it's good because it does 2 things. One, they understand why they're doing it. It's because we as a team, something that takes 0 talent, we were terrible 45 times. We sabotaged ourselves 45 times on a non-talent related thing. The other team didn't do anything other than us just not hustling. So we do that, they understand that, and then also it makes us a little tired, so that first segment of practice, we got to do things a little fatigued, which makes you think a little bit more. It's fun to see, how many, on the board of reality, you see how many kids make plays, who the big play guys are, who the loafers are, and it becomes really cut and dry. And it's just visually there. It's like, okay, well, I can tell you who's not going to play, and I can tell you who is going to play, and this is visual proof, of that. Just numbers don't lie. If you're not hustling, you're not going to play. I'll lose games, but I'm not going to lose games with people that don't hustle.
The thing I loved about the spring practice was there was no hiding. Every day at practice, you're graded on alignment, execution, and effort. And that's one thing, especially the defense preaches, Coach Boswick, effort to the ball. I mean, one person doesn't tackle it, you run it down. So it was really cool to see. You get graded every single day, pass or fail, and then you get points for big plays. So there was no hiding, and I think it brought the best out of me because, it's on paper. For you see, we call it the board of reality. We check it every day. So it's like if you're struggling or you're doing really well, you know where you're at. So there's no gray area. But the one thing I really liked was at practice, we had the scoreboard on, and everything was a competition, offense versus defense. So, everybody's buddy in the locker room, but when you get on the field, offense doesn't like the defense and the defense doesn't like the offense. But once the whistle blows, everyone hugs it up and we bring it together. But it was really cool to see because it felt like a game. It didn't feel like practice every day. We were arguing, we were kind of scrapping it up with each other, but just to fight for those points. But that's what we need in the fall, is just that competitive edge and being able to translate spring ball into the next phase, which is fall camp, and then into the season. Just keep building on that, and I think we'll be in a good spot.
And then we get into, a lot more, individual drills, team drills, but we'll do one-on-ones and we score all those. When the wide receivers go against the DBs, the coaches do a great job. They script those out every day, so we know who's going against who. If you caught it, it's 1. If you didn't catch it, it's 0. The other team gets 1, and it's a cumulative score. And then we'll go into Skelly, which is a 7-on-7, and we keep scoring. If we get a big play, if it's over 15, 20 yards, 15 rushing, 20 yards passing, it's worth 3 points. Defense gets an interception or a fumble or a sack, they get 3 points. And we keep scoring on that. And then we go into teams, and you keep score. And I can't tell you how many times it's going to be 60-61, or it's going to come down to 1 play or 2 plays, but it makes you competitive. But the second part is there's going to be a day where the offense is behind by 20 points. They're just getting their butts kicked. And they're going to come back and win that day. And the way that they're going to figure out that they won that day is they just stack 1 play at a time. There's no 20-point plays. There's no magic pill to say, we're going to win this game. It's how do I stop the bleeding? And then how do I get 1 play going right? How do I not watch the scoreboard, not watch the score, not listen to the crowd, but just 1 play, and then I stack it on another. And then I stack it on another. And pretty soon you're going to flip momentum. And then you watch the other side. Then you watch the defense. And it's great for them too. It's like, okay, how do we lose a 20-point lead when we're 1 point at a time? It's like, all right, this happened. Oh, then some finger pointing happened. And then some blame happened. And then some panic happened. And it's just phenomenal because I want that to happen. And it's like, okay, how do we address that? And then pretty soon they're like, hey, okay, no big deal. Let's just get one stop or 1 good play. And then build another one. And I can tell defense, I don't care if the other team's on the 1-inch line, there's a blade of grass, they haven't scored. It's like, get a turnover, get a stop, anything can happen. Offense is the same way, we third or whatever. Offense is always 1 play away from a beautiful day. And if you have that mentality, it's like, you're going to be opportunistic. And if you're opportunistic, you're going to be a good team. And if you're not, you're going to see the same patterns repeated themselves. It's okay to have things happen once, maybe twice. Average teams repeat their mistakes. Great teams never repeat their mistakes. So if you give up a 20-point lead, fine. I better not see that in 2 or 3 days. Or if we do, we know what we are. We gotta figure out what we have. We know what we were deficient in from watching film last year, but I think on offense there's going to be 2 seniors back next year. Defense, 4 or 5. And we're only really going to return 4 or 5 starters. So it's a whole new batch. And so, okay, let's see what we got. Let's take them and then let's develop them. That's our job. You know, number one, you know, you start at quarterback is like, okay, we got a kid that played a lot of snaps. You know, Chris played a lot of snaps, did a lot of great things. Really good player. It's like, okay, how can we raise his level? I mean, you're not going to be, usually most teams I've always been blessed to have a great quarterback with the great offenses. And it's just, you've got to have that dude. And that's one of the most important positions. Okay, how do we elevate him? And competition's one of those ways. And, you know, okay, so we tell the guys that are already here that are, you know, weren't starters last year, is like, you got to raise your game. I'm going to coach you up. Coach Twee's going to coach you up. And then we bring into some competition, you know, and so where Mason came in. And, you know, it's an alpha dog approach. It's like, I don't care if you're white, black, brown, rich, poor. It's like whoever's the best is going to play. The best 11 on offense will play. The best 11 on defense will play. And then you're going to have a bunch of backups that will play. So you got to develop them all. Offensive line is, you know, I'm just staying on offense, is one that's like, that's your foundation. And so those guys got to be tough-ass dudes, you know, and they've got to understand how to play, what to play, and just some of the things that we're going to do. And it's from coaching. That's why I think, you know, like Coach Prosser does a great job of, is you're really tailored to what those guys are. It's figuring out what pieces we have, and then more importantly, how do we use those pieces? What are they good at? 3 years, we can recruit to exactly what we want, but right now we got to play with what we have, you know, and find the best way of putting those pieces to succeed. So is that inside zone? Is it power? Is it outside zone? Is it pin and pull? What are those things? And that's what we hammered out. I think we got a great idea of, with the current group we have, what we can be really good at. And then, you know, defensively, you know, it's like they play the right way. You know, that you know, Coach Bostwick's done a great job with them. You know, but it's you know, okay, we lose a lot of people. You know, but like the secondary, okay, corners, all new corners, can they play? They can. We got good corners. That'd be good. D-line, we got some great parts there. What are they going to do? You know, the guys that are dudes there, do we need some more numbers there? Do we need some younger guys to step up? Absolutely. So figuring those out, you get to the end of spring, it's like, okay, is there any holes that we still need to fill? And then what are we not good at that we're trying to do? And let's fix that. Let's get to when we go to Mankato and we play game one, that every kid on that field believes 100% when they're reacting when they're playing, and that they're the best in the world at that position. And we'll do all right if we can get to that spot. We want to work hard, play hard. You know, it's just like you coach them hard, you love them hard. This isn't transactional, you know, just on wins and losses. I mean, we all came here to win, but we want to play hard with the guys as well. Little thank you to them. Let's go out and have a little fun together, and it helps them bond also. I don't think we got a really good group of bowlers. There's a couple that I think can really roll, but for the most part, it's a chance to make fun of one another and just hang out off the field, which is equally as important as what they're doing on the field. So we try and, you know, have that involvement with them as far as, you know, making them a few meals during the year, going out and having fun with them, and then, you know, we'll come back and we'll get to work, and that respect is still there. Everything's, you know, integrity and trust are the two big things, and we'll have them.
You got my ball?
No, I didn't.
That's straight, man. What do you mean? Look at all these people.
I started walking, I thought I'd be here for 4 o'clock.
The reason why we do this for us, you know, we preach family, we talk family, and it's important to me to be around the guys and spend as much time with them as I can. So I enjoy it. I know we get out here, we have a good time, kind of life away from football. So for us, that family culture, that family atmosphere is important.
Are you a good bowler?
Of course. You see the score, 130.
Okay.
The more you put in together, the more you care about something, the harder it is to give up. And the more you care about someone else or care about the team, the harder it is to give up on them and your team. So the VFPA was genesis of, you know, coming from an NIL form. Like when we first got the job, it's like, okay, how can we differentiate ourselves to some degree, from others in the conference. I think we have as good of facilities as everybody, but maybe there's some areas where we're deficient in funding or whatever areas that is. I know one area we're not deficient in at all is alums and passion. I mean, this is a program that is just rich in history, the last 100 years, and even more recently, it's had a ton of success, a ton of players that have played in it, football, basketball, all of them. I mean, you think about Northwest, you think about success, and so, okay, well, how can we make that niche? And at first it started as like, well, maybe it's an NIL, James Godfrey, Eric Peterson, and then Aaron and Dan Becker really took the lead in that. From those guys came to the initial press conference, and they're from different eras, but Aaron and Dan kind of took it and reached out and like, well, maybe we'll take this approach as starting with, a former player association. That's okay. Let's raise funds from former players that are for the current players. And their motto was, okay, honoring the past while elevating the future. And so, I mean, to me, that's awesome. I mean, there's so many great players that came through that Northwest meant so much to, changed their lives. I'm one of them. I played here and it completely changed my life. I mean, Northwest gave me 10 times more than my small scholarship. They started off with, forming an LLC, forming a company, getting that taken care of. That takes time, money, and they did a great job with that. And then it's okay, let's unite the cats. And it just took off. And they set up, this was going to be the first large event, was the tailgate.
I'm excited about this new Bearcat Players Association because it really gives myself and all the alumni just a solid network and a stream to really connect with everybody across all the different generations of Bearcat football. There's a lot of great people out there, and the fact that we're pulling together with an opportunity to honor the past and really elevate this program is something special to be a part of. It's important to give back because when I look back at my college experience and what this university and what the football program gave me and the tools it gave me to be successful in life, it's just the opportunity to give back and reinvest into the program who it already gave so much.
The VFPA provides us an opportunity to fellowship with our brothers that we came through Northwest with. I like to think this is where it all began with Coach Churchma and a lot of my former teammates in terms of establishing the foundation that you see today for Northwest Missouri State. It's very wonderful to be back. I haven't been back in about 5 years, and so to see the changes in Maryville, to see all my old teammates, it is a blessing. It has been a beautiful outcome. It's been a beautiful day. And so excited to not only give back to Northwest Missouri and Maryville, but as well as to recreate and form that brotherhood with the VFPA.
We're here today just to celebrate tradition and culture. And, this is a long time overdue. And the Becker brothers and James Godfrey and Eric Peterson, they put this former Players Association together. And we are just excited to be a part of it and to bring the spirit of Bearcat football back to campus. The best part about the PAW is anytime you get back together with the fellas, it's a special time. And it doesn't matter who you see or how long it's been. When you're back on campus, it feels like yesterday. And that's the best part about being a Bearcat football player.
The second part is like, okay, they're helping the current players. So they've already bought, as far as for the team, the protein bars. Eventually it'll be equipment. It'll be a helmet with VFPA on there. That they got that for these guys. And so it's a two-way street. It's not just us as an athletic program or football program saying, help us, help us, help us. It's like, no, let's unite us. You're in it with us. I mean, this takes a village to raise a child. And the child is our football programs. 98, 99, when we won 2 national championships, when we were playing here, it was, I got taken in by a couple of host families that, they cooked meals for us twice a week, and there are 5 or 6 players, and they're still a dear friend of ours, but that's the family aspect of people that were giving back, and then our players were part of the community, and it just goes full circle. And now, as a coach here, I'm trying to give back, and alums have another chance to give back so that our current players' experiences are the exact same thing. I think it's special what they're doing. I think it's going to be a great thing. Spring game's about the kids, and to me it's about the kids, the parents. This year specifically is about, alums too, and kind of uniting the cats. And it's a reward for those players. That's what I told them in the meeting right before the day before the spring game was like, this is for you, okay? This is your chance to go out and play in an atmosphere where I'm not standing behind you coaching. The O-line coaches and the D-line coaches, we're on the sideline. We call a play. You're going to do good or bad, and then you got to move on right on to the next one. And you go play and do it. And we did the draft, and we split up the teams. So they were balanced. It's not like the one offense versus 3 defense, and made it competitive. And I thought it was an absolute blast.
I mean, it felt like you were in the NFL. Everyone in there is like, it wasn't like college football players, a bunch of little kids watching the draft, but I was pretty pumped when I got drafted on Bostwick's team. And when we got drafted, the green team sat on one side and the white team sat on one side. And right when you got drafted, it was immediately talking, saying something to the other team. It was cool. I really liked it. And it was funny hearing the coaches, how they picked teams. They did rock, paper, scissors. And Coach Tweehouse, I don't think he won a game rock, paper, scissors, but it was cool.
I thought it was a really cool idea. And then like you're in that meeting room and you're seeing who you're gonna go against. You're seeing who's on your team. It's like, okay, I'm riding with these guys. Like I don't really ride with you anymore. But I mean, obviously like at the end of the day, you're still teammates, but it was definitely cool to see. Coach Tweed needs to get better at rock, paper, scissors. He did not do very well. I mean, he drafted a good team and he coached a good team. So, I mean, all power to him.
Main thing I want today, do what you're doing today for the person next to you more than what you're doing for yourself.
Racing to the finish line, seatbelt, fast whips, got a win in mind. See me when I skirt off, ain't no 10 in mine. Friends keep saying slow down, should've seen the signs. Riding down this dirt road, where we going, I don't know. God, please protect me, I'm halfway home. Take the wheel right now, thinking about the ones that go.
It felt like a real game, not really like a spring game. Like sometimes you feel like spring game, you're just going through the motions like it's the spring, but there was a ton of people there and it was really cool to see.
Who was supposed to be on top, but we gonna take our L. We gonna come back stronger. Come on,
right spot. You know how we do. Kale's got it. Kale's got it. He threw that. Oh my God.
Kids did a great job. Coaches did a great job. The university did a great job. Of setting it up. I mean, I've been to a lot of football games that didn't have as many fans as we did on Saturday. It was awesome. And then our Bearcat Former Player Association that's fired up, and we had over 100 players here for that, and it's just going to take off. It's the tip of the iceberg, and we need all their help. But it was a fun day. It was fun to coach in. It's fun to see the kids play, and then it's fun to see the parents come down and just see what their kid, and see them smile and hug each other and how's it going, and you're back to reality. And then we all went and ate together as a team afterwards in tailgate that they provided food for us, and it was a really fun day.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna use a Bearcat one. I got some Bearcat ones. Coming from high school is definitely like a new feeling, not obviously getting to play as much, or at all, I guess, at this point, because redshirting, but then, not really being the guy that you were in high school. So, but I mean, you have to work your way up. Everybody kind of knows that coming in, and it's just like, as soon as you can accept that and accept your role in the team, I mean, that's really the biggest thing. And then, getting better where you can, getting like in the weight room and stuff, like, you can still work hard in there even if you're not getting reps in practice and stuff. So there's being able to pick and choose your moments where you can work hard and make yourself known on the team, so that like we got to spring ball here, that you can actually make yourself known. So like through the season, like through scout team, trying to show out as much as you can, like try to let all the coaches know who you are, see what type of work ethic you have, and then making bonds with the other freshmen. That's what makes it easier. Coming in, it's gonna be hard, the workouts are hard, practices suck, but I mean, you make the bonds with the guys on the team, and then that's what makes it worth it, that family bond that we have. That one wasn't too bad on the green there. Part of freshman year is like, it's gonna be harder to feel like part of the team and like you're really doing your part, but like that was one thing the coaches always did, was like making sure that everybody knew that scout team was like is a necessary thing, and making sure that you're giving a good look for the team, and then finding where you can fit your game into the other defense to try to like improve, get better, not just like waste time out there, to still improve as a player so that you can make some noise during spring ball or something. So Not bad. I mean, just from the moment Coach Wright telling us that he was no longer going to be our head coach, I mean, that's scary because then, like, I know obviously that's the head coach that brought you in your freshman year, and that, like, you know, you're not expecting a big change like that, especially in your freshman year. So then, yeah, it makes it scary. Like, you don't know what guys are going to hit the portal. You don't know what the team's going to look like in the spring. You don't know if your position coach is going to leave. And you don't know what the coaching staff's gonna look like next year. So knowing Northwest and knowing like the family like atmosphere we got, and knowing like our athletic department and the amount of coaches that want to coach here, former players like Coach Mack, like you knew that we were gonna bring in a good guy the whole time. And they didn't keep us waiting very long. So once he was hired, like, you know, we knew that we're gonna come in the spring and that we were gonna get it moving. So think about college football, like especially now, going on a new transfer portal era, like, you know, your whole room could change every year. So that's gonna be like hard to deal with. I guess like you don't want to lose guys obviously, but then, I mean, you gotta, if you lose a guy, there has to be someone to step up right there in his place of him. So that's just one thing about developing the young guys, developing freshmen. Like everybody wants a shot, and so like whenever we lose guys like that, that's why it's good we have the spring. You can get out there, you can make plays in practice, and show the coaches that you can be the type of guy that they need to step up for you. I mean, once season ended, like first thing immediately for us, especially freshmen, is getting in the weight room with Joe Q, like real. So, I mean, we started morning workouts, like I think the week after season ended. So just getting in there, obviously getting bigger, stronger, faster, but then like showing like the strength staff, like what type of players we were, what our lists were like. Sit. A little far, not bad. I mean, it's a grind. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it sucked. It sucked it sucked a lot. Waking up at 5 every day, getting to weights at 6, and then, I don't know, field work in the afternoon too. Like, I mean, it sucks, but I mean, that's what it takes to, you know, be a good player. Just like Coach Mack says, like, first 3 games are determined from January to April. That's what it takes to be able to win those first few games is, you know, getting in the weight room with the team, working hard all off season. And I mean, waking up every day at 5, like it sucks, but I mean, that's what it takes to be good, I guess. If you want to play DB here, you got to be fast, you got to be able to run with receivers. But I mean, they've done a good job of, you know, putting on good weight, getting us stronger, but then also keeping us faster with conditioning and stuff. I guess like coming to spring ball, like I knew that was going to be like my first shot at, you know, showing the coaches like what type of player I was, what I could do on the field. Like this is your tryout for fall, so. I mean, this is really where all the depth chart moving goes. So it's super competitive during spring ball. Like everybody's encouraging each other, but at the end of the day, like you want to make your own plays and you want to be the guy that, you know, coach moves up. Being a freshman, like making sure I learned the defense, you know, spend enough time in the film room, getting up in the office like 3-4 times a week with coach, watching film. Like once you know the defense and know what calls you're in and not having to worry about that, like you just play faster and able to make better plays. So just really knowing all that to make sure you're in the right place at the right time. And then, I mean, I like to think I made a couple good plays during the spring game. And so, I mean, just being able to know where I was supposed to be at in those situations, that's what really helped me. I read run immediately. I see them run blocking, and then linebackers and corner did a good job of like taking care of their guys so that there was an open hole, and then met Dom in the hole, able to get him down, got him by the legs, and I mean, that's it. I mean, those are the type of plays I really like to make. I like to come downhill, I like to tackle. I mean, guarding people's fun, but I really like to hit. So that just meant a lot to me. I mean, that just really like put all the spring ball together, like made all the practices worth it, made all the lifts in the winter worth it. Because I mean, being able to make plays like that in the spring game as a young guy, like that's really what I was looking forward to. So I mean, it's cool doing good in spring ball and stuff, but that doesn't mean anything if I don't carry it over or anything like that. So that's the main goal, just keep doing what I'm doing, get better every day. So being able to just get out here like with a few friends, like have a tea time, like I don't know, it's really just fun. Get out here and mess around a little bit and then just have fun with the boys. Not being like football, just like, it's like you just kind of get to relax, like focus, play your own ball, and just like focus on being individually good. Because not everything's just all muscle and brawn. Like with golf, like shoot, you gotta really focus in on it. And I think that like being able to focus in on something other than football and just something more relaxing, something that you know, you don't have to exert your full energy too. I think that's why I really like it a lot.
Friday is a fun deal. Friday is Friday high five day at the elementary schools, and it's you're an elementary student. These college guys are larger than life. You know, it just makes their day. So every Friday, our guys are putting their jerseys on. We're going to the elementary schools, and we're high fiving, we're cheering, we're hooping and hollering all the young kids that are coming through, and great for those kids. It's a chance for us to try and make their day better, help the elementary school out, and just provide a little juice to them. But it's in it for our players, you know, to see what kind of impact, you know, you make on these little kids. You know, when we go read at the school to these kids, they're going to remember number 59. That's all they're going to look for. Next game, you're instantly their favorite player. And so I tell our coaches all the time too, is like, bring your kids around. My kids are going to be around practice all the time because, you know, this is a family deal, and what decisions you make as a player impact more than just yourself. And Friday is an awesome day.
He signs your top cast?
Yeah. Right here?
Okay. Right there.
Get close up. Get it close up. No, don't get it close up on this.
Get the watch in there. Get the watch in there.
My hands actually would have edited that part out.
He's a lefty, but he's riding with his right. Just
Oh, no.
99.
99.
Yes, sir.
That's so close to 100. You have room for a couple more?
Yeah. 99. Not 96.
Got it? Okay. There you go.
What's your favorite sport?
Oh, here we are.
Spider-Man got way more high fives than O'Shea.
You know what I'm saying? He probably did. A couple
They was really saying they did not want to high five him. They was scared.
They didn't say that, but you know what I'm
They said
saying.
he smelled bad.
We came and congratulated the kids because they made it to Friday. That's what we gonna say.
So, you know, on top of, you know, trying to help the elementary schools out, you know, the reading, you know, we really want our players to invest in the community as much as they can. You know, that's the giving back aspect of it. You know, servant leadership is helping others. So it's not just the football team, but, you know, so on Thursday, we're going to do a citywide cleanup. You know, we're going to spend the whole day, you know, split up into groups, and we're going to go to certain, you know, elderly homes that might not be able to clean up themselves, or certain parts of town that need it, just as a day for us to give back. We're constantly helping, moving, you know, the elderly that we can, and just investing whenever we can in our community, just so they know that this is a two-way street. And we're not going to ask for anything in return. It's just our way to go out and give back. And all these players, you know, when they're done, you know, and go to bed knowing they did a great thing, and they'll feel good about it. It's another way that they can say, this is another way I can make an impact on somebody else. You know, it's going to make their day a lot more than it's going to make my day.
And you have a hoodie on. Hey. Look at it.
Now we get into, you know, kind of the phase 2 of this whole thing is, all right, now what we instill hopefully carries over now into the summer. That's got to be the most intense training that they do, the biggest thing that they'll do. And it's got to be, you know, and it's now the team's running this stuff. You know, we can have a strength coach out there working with them, but it's the team culture is going to take there, and they got to understand what those non-negotiables are. There's going to be days where it's hot. Coach, it's 103 degrees out. My high school buddies are at 7-Eleven having a slushie right now, but you got to go work out. How bad you want to be good? And if you want it bad enough, it's worth it. I hope we're 6-0, but that's what we're working for. You know, we got the next 3 games this summer, you know, on there, and so they'll have the work cut out for them. Joe Q and Joey got a great program we put together, and they'll go out and execute it, and you know, hit the ground running come fall camp.
Something needed to change, and I feel like I can already, as soon as Coach Mack walked in for that first meeting, I think I felt that change. Just the energy he brought, just the care that he had and the want-to that he had. I feel like that's a lot of things that I've seen, and I think a lot of guys had that want-to when it came to spring ball. So I think that's definitely the biggest thing that I've felt in that switch, is just guys wanting to come and compete every day and get better.
What did we find out this spring is we found out that we got a group that wants to be great. You know, they'll do whatever we tell them to do. They're just a very, very coachable group. I think the culture is great. I think they work their tail off. They'll play hard, and they're responsive. And then it's on us. We got to keep putting the pieces where we think they can be.
I was on the green sideline this weekend, and that's how I've always been, is green home jerseys. The greens, all greens to me, man, it's like, that's Northwest football here. That's home. That's us defending our spot. So those things still resonate with me. And as a parent, ooh, gosh, I'm not going to do it. As a parent, you want your, dang it. You want your kid to be cared for. College football is great. Northwest football is amazing. We love it. But what are we creating you for? What are we developing that next step to be? Are you going to be successful there? So, yeah, dang it. And also these guys. We got to develop just young men, young leaders. So that's what I love. That's what we get an opportunity to do every day. So.
Well, yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Sweet.